So, what I'm working on now is a new collection of episodes that I am going to publish to Kindle, which uh, look up the Sling on Amazon, by the way. Um, anyway, and you'll find it. So, I'm looking to add more to the Amazon collection um, that I'm assembling. And one thing that I'm trying to do in particular is to tell the story that is in the midst of occurring right now, actually, of where my friend Norman's life is headed. Um, he's at a point where what he really wants to do is to be able to quit the job that he works right now and have enough income that he can in the future focus on a future wife and children. And I was able to, using the same methods that I use to write fiction, because I do write fiction, stories about robots and stuff. um, I was able to use skills that those fiction skills that I'd gathered over the past many years to apply them to what's going on with Norman, and assemble them in a way that is very compelling to a reader. Because with anyone's life, you can just go ahead and tell them, oh yeah, now I'll just use Norman as an example. Oh yeah, he's a carpenter right now, and he's trying to quit his job and um, get into a position where he can get more wealth and be able to provide for a future family. And that's all true, but it's not very compelling. It's interesting, sure, but it's not a story that most people would want to sit down and get hooked on and follow along and lose themselves in reading. Um, so I took a different approach. And for that, I have to include more context of Norman's story. So around 2019 is when he met Nick Anthony Quach, who he started making videos with. He actually got a YouTube series started on Rhode Island Foresight Television named after him. His his name is Norman Dennis Baker. I might be wrong about that. No, it's Dennis. I remember. His name is Norman Dennis Baker, sometimes N.D. Baker, and he was born in 1993. So, the YouTube series in his name is called N.D. Baker 93. Pretty good, by the way. Check it out. And the first season, or most of the first season, was actually recorded in, I believe, about 5 hours. Not far from where I'm sitting right now, over there actually. And in that, Nick Anthony works with a lot of philosophical concepts, which he and Norman went over with, and Norman was really, really into them. And one of those concepts is the concept of leadership, which, after Norman heard, and perhaps he had this desire beforehand, or had it to an extent, or maybe he developed it during this conversation, I don't know. But he declared during that conversation that he wants to become a leader. And he worked towards that very hard. He did put a lot of effort in. I personally witnessed it and worked alongside him at times, but we were very focused on different things, but we did meet through working together on these overall projects. There was a project which I don't know the status of how active or inactive it is right now, though I wouldn't like to say I would never rejoin this project. I'd just like to clarify that. I just don't currently work with it. The project is called Providence Haven, often just called Haven. Um, Excuse me? We have, excuse the dust. These are kind of old. One sec. There's some better ones over here. We have a lot of these. So, Haven. This is actually a product of it. I believe it was Norman who actually brought out these boxes very excitedly. I remember that moment. I was very excited as well. At least I remember him being the one to first hold the boxes and present them to me. He worked very hard to become a leader for Haven, but for reasons that I wasn't really a part of, or that I don't have enough knowledge to explain them. I have slight knowledge of what went on, but I don't have the full story. So if I try to explain it, it won't really make sense. If anyone should explain it, it should be him or some other people who were much more involved in the actual running of Haven as a company rather than just working alongside its members. But yeah, he worked very hard to make Haven succeed, and like I said, Haven might still be active, I'm not aware, but it doesn't appear that that's what he focuses on now, so he failed, unfortunately, to become a leader in that respect. And he also was working very actively around the time on a book called The King of Leadership. I haven't even heard him bring up the book in, I think, well over a year now, so I believe in any capacity that he could have gained leadership from writing that book, that's not going to happen anytime soon, at least, and perhaps never. But yeah, and this of course isn't to speak poorly of Norman, just to say that he really wants to be a leader, but he doesn't know what path that he should take to get there, or really he's not aware of what his ideals are, so he cannot use those ideals to decide how he becomes a leader. That was the case until a matter of weeks ago, when he discovered something called Meeting 123. Now, this video is just supposed to be short in about 10 minutes, so I'm not even... Oh, I said 123. It's supposed to be 123. I apologize. Norman says 123, and Nick Anthony often makes fun of him for it. It's meaning 123. Like I said, complex concept, not something I can explain in this video, but I will say that it was something that was a motivating factor that Norman, when he would previously see Nick Anthony maybe once a month, maybe twice at most, or 3 times, and most of those interactions would just be him coming on and him coming to Nick's place, which is here, and talking to him about his life. He instead started coming and working like towards his ideals, and he has a lot of big ideas, which I don't have time to explain right now, but he has a lot of big ideas to go forward with his life, and to actually, it seems now more realistic that he will gain this wealth that he is trying to get. And what I'm writing is the story of how he goes from some carpenter who makes well enough to get by to a guy who can support his family. And like in real life, we're at the beginning of this story, and I think the fact that it is a true story is going to be the best part of it.